Hey folks, my name is Rob Satterman. I own Feedbackwrench. We're a Minneapolis and St. Paul based web design and digital marketing company. I want to talk to you about how do you actually get more people to convert for your small business. So if you own a small business, whether you're an accountant, a construction company, a remodeling company, maybe you do concrete patios, I don't care what kind of business you have. I want to talk to you a little bit about what it is that you should be doing on your website so that you actually get conversions, and not only get conversions, but maximize everything that you do, okay? And we're gonna dive right into it. So I'm just gonna teach a little bit here. Forgive me if you're probably smarter than I am anyway. So the first thing that I want you to realize is that everything comes down to a healthy pacing, right? Just like a healthy marriage, every sale has a healthy pacing to it, and there's a natural pacing to it. So the number one thing that you should embrace is this idea that you're gonna have to move people through a process, and I'm gonna hit on that real quick. Just like when you first meet your spouse, when I met my wife, you have an initial first meeting. That initial first meeting, you're like, hey, you're attractive, I like you, and then eventually you exchange digits, you have a first date and a lot of other dates, and then eventually a proposal and a marriage. There's a healthy pacing. If you ran around asking people, hey, will you marry me? Hey, will you marry me? Hey, will you marry me? It's a little awkward. And yet, you do want to let your intent be known, that you're courting, that, this isn't just some willy-nilly thing. So that's the first thing, is to embrace this process. And it's a lot like dating. I want to put that in your mind. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to move people through this customer journey where you go through. The customer is curious about how you can solve their problem. We want to pique their curiosity about how you make the customer's life better. Number two, they're going to go through an enlightenment stage where they lean in to try and figure out, wait a minute, how do you work to actually make my life better the way you pique my curiosity? They're going to find out, are you worthy of trust? They're going to see how it is that you work. And there, what we want to do is position you as a guide that helps people go from here to there, where they're stuck, they're not thriving, they're languishing, or their problems aren't solved, they're not getting customers, whatever that is, to this better there. It's kind of a vision casting and positioning, but they're going to lean in. So first you pique their curiosity, then they go into this enlightenment mode where we want to position you as a guide, and eventually you have different levels of commitment, right? And what you're essentially doing here is you're taking people who are strangers, trying to make them visitors so they get to know you, get to trust you, find out that you've solved this problem and you make their life better, and eventually they become a lead and eventually a customer. And last, usually what we're doing here is you're going to have an advertising and content that they're going to intersect with, right? There's going to be something that they see that piques their curiosity. It's almost like a postcard or a piece of mail, but it's digitally, right? Or maybe they Google and they're looking for an answer. What's the tax difference between an LLC and an S Corp? Then they find your content or your ad. That allows them to enter your marketing funnel, which is going to be the main thing I talk about here. Eventually your sales funnel, once you get their information, then become a customer, right? So the number one thing I want you to think about is that you're going to have a healthy pacing, and that means we need to think about how do we move people through. And there are two things that we end up doing. Number one, we need to build a high converting website and footprint. I almost don't like to say just website. It's really all about the full footprint, and that's a lot like building a better mousetrap. And number two, we're going to generate traffic and market share. We're going to set up advertising, which is a lot like buying seed and taking market share, right? We can go out and get a percentage of the keywords when people search for, digital marketer near me, web designer near me, or in your case, it might be concrete patio companies near me, concrete companies, remodeling companies, remodelers, renovation companies, general contractors, home builders, right? Electricians near me, plumbers near me, whatever that is. There's a series of things that we can do to command market share. So build a high converting footprint, really not just a website, but a footprint. And number two, generate market share. And that's all like buying seed for your farm. Once you have all your capacity there, you have your field, you have your tractor, you have your farm, you have your staff, we need to fill up your capacity. And paid ads are the number one way to do that. And it's worth talking about. Just, paid ads are the predictable thing that fills your sales funnel now, but there's a long cold war that you need to win. You need to win against the commies. And essentially what you're going to do is it's search engine optimization. I'll just give this away for free. Primarily, most local businesses, 80% of your SEO is going to be in a sound setup, making sure you just do the best practices and getting more Google reviews. Get more Google reviews than your competitors. Become the 10-ton gorilla when it comes to Google reviews. Shoot for 80% of your clients having given you a review. Build up that trust, ask for the review, follow up with it, and just gently get it. So that's just a free quickie. So number 2, we do that. Now what I want to do is I want to jump down and I want to talk about what causes people to actually convert on your website, right? How do you build a website that converts? Number 1, we have how it looks. Number 2, we have what it says. Number 3, we build credibility. Number 4, we build authority. Okay, on the bottom here, how it looks should be clean and responsive design. It should look right on every type of design: phone, iPad, sideways phone, and desktop. Number 2, there should be an authentic look and feel to your website. Do not allow your website to look like it's just stock photography. When I go to a website and there's no authentic photography, no authentic look, it doesn't look like the person and their organization or the regionality or for the customer, and it's just stock. I'm like, is this real, or is this just like some farm out in Southeast Asia made this website, or maybe Eastern Europe just put this website together, and I can't really tell who it is. You need authenticity to it. And that's usually imagery, branding, photography. Then you want good branding. Good branding is all about there should be a look and feel to things. People should be able to identify that, yes, this is you. And then last, an excellent user face. Put things in the right place. Then you have what it says. This is incredibly important. We want clear and concise messaging. We want customer-focused messaging. People do not read paragraphs. They skim them, and then it needs to talk about them. They're the hero in the story, not you. You want to make them the hero, and as you make them the hero, you're going to have a lot of good luck